everyone, we are going to be chatting with Marley from Marley Sew Co. So let's go. Hey everyone, welcome back, and here we are today with Marley.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for coming and chatting with us. We're super excited. How are you doing tonight?
I'm good. Thank you for having me over. I'm so excited to be here and just to chat and just to hang out.
Yay, awesome. We can start with you just telling us a bit about yourself.
Yeah, for sure. So my name's Marley. I'm originally from Ontario. I'm 24 years old, and I grew up playing every sport you could probably possibly imagine, mainly competitive volleyball. I played for college volleyball in Ontario as well, and I have cats, and yeah, that's pretty much like the highlight reel of my life, pretty much.
Cool. Have you always been like really active?
I have. Like
Yeah.
my mom was a gym teacher and a science teacher growing up, so she would always bring us to the high school that she worked at and open up the equipment room, and my sister and I would just be grabbing balls and sticks and playing and stuff while she would mark in her office. So since my earliest memories, we've always been playing a sport or, throwing a ball around and stuff. So that's always kind of integrated throughout my childhood and even into how I got started making scrunchies and stuff was just from that athleticism and playing sports growing up.
Marley Sew Co, you said it started kind of from the athleticism. Can you talk a bit about that?
Yeah, for sure. So every day, pretty much, I was doing something, whether it was, a high school sport, an elementary sport, or a competitive sport. So my hair is always up in a ponytail. And sometimes I'd have 3 practices a day, depending on the day. So I would always use regular hair elastics, and my hair would just keep ripping out. Like some days I just have a handful of just hair from ripping it out and a line around my hair. So by the end of, a season or something, my hair, I could tell, was shedding and losing it. And so when I got my first job and I saved my money and I went online and bought scrunchies, my hair kept falling out because I have a lot of hair and it's very thick. And so I was so frustrated because I was like, well, I want what an elastic can hold in my hair because it held it well, but the scrunchies is better for my hair, or they are better for my hair, my hair just couldn't hold it up. And so I would use an elastic and then put a scrunchie around it. But then I'm like, this seems so like ineffective. And so I was kind of playing around with that, and I grew up sewing a bit, and I just kind of fiddled with that to create a scrunchie that would actually keep people's hair up without it falling down or damaging it.
Wow, that's awesome. You said you grew up sewing as well?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like my mom grew up on a farm, so we always grew up like making jams and just kind of, and I always loved that part, like in the fall and summertime. And she always had a sewing kit that kind of just sat in the closet that we never used. So I kind of would always like fiddle with it, or like just kind of be interested in it, and kind of like as like a 5-year-old or an 8-year-old be like, wow, like this can make that, and then what else can it make, like just kind of opening up that stream of opportunity and possibilities. So that when I got older and came across this frustration, I kind of went back to that as a child and then put the two together. So it was just kind of like, it was just crazy. Like I felt like I had like an epiphany and like of things.
That's awesome. And when was that? I guess when did that happen? When did this kind of start?
It kind of happened near the end of the pandemic, like just kind of sitting around at home. I finished college. I took college to be a paralegal in Ontario and ended up being a licensed paralegal. So it was during that time when, in the background, and kind of used that as my creative outlet and just kind of fiddled around with the concept and started making different prototypes and just figuring out all the different methods and like trying it on was too tight or is too loose, and like how many twists do I like as the perfect amount. And everyone has different hair thicknesses, so how someone with super thick hair, like what would they like versus someone with thin hair, like it's just so different. And I was like, could a concept of scrunchies be like a shirt, like they're small to XL? So could I with that same concept kind of craft it to everyone's different sizes?
And so with you said kind of the middle of the pandemic is when you kind of
Mhm.
started. Did you initially start as like a business, or was it more just like a hobby at first and then going into the business?
It started as a hobby, and it's more for myself, to be honest. And then I, would talk to friends and family, and then everyone really grasped the idea and really liked it. And then I was like, if this is something I struggled with or I had a problem with, I wonder how many other people had that same issue. And at first was like, okay, like if I think about like my volleyball team, like how many girls wore hair elastics or had the same problem? And then, you know, how many people in a tournament or, you know, across the whole league. And then, you know, kind of like, well, you don't have to play sports to have that same issue. Like everyone, you know, just whoever wants to have their hair up would potentially have that issue. So it kind of just started as a hobby for myself and then into like, I could turn this into a business and then trying to find the confidence of, wait, how do I start a business? And then that was like and then that's where the journey started, was trying to start from zero and still trying to figure my way through things, but really starting at just an idea and a concept of it.
What was that experience like, going from hobby to, wait, how do you do a business, to now a business with like a logo and everything?
It's crazy. Like, I don't even know the words to describe it. Like, definitely scary. Like, just being like, you know, laying in bed, looking up and just being like, okay, like, what do I do? Like, you go on YouTube. Like, everything I do is like, start at YouTube, like for a cleaning hack or for like, just for anything basic. So then it's like, oh wait, you have to like do all these other things. And then it's like, wait, like this is expensive, or there's financials of it. And then it's like, wait, I need to have a website. How do I start a website? How do I, you know, like, where do I begin? And I ended up taking a program, like a course in Barrie. It's called Further Faster. And they take entrepreneurs and they do a crash course for everything. So that also really helped, because with the little bit I had, I thought I knew things. And then after leaving it, I was like, I know absolutely nothing. But in the best way of like learning what, like, it's like getting the tools for your toolkit of like, okay, these are the tools I need to go build what I want to build. And just probably learning that it's a journey and not a destination, I think, is probably the biggest thing that I've learned and continuing to learn.
So we have some of your scrunchies here, and I'm guessing these are the two sizes that you have right now?
Right now.
Do you want to, like, small and... No, you said they're more mid-size. You talk about them, actually. I'll stop. I don't know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I call these, like, regular and XL. They'll probably, once I get, like... I want to have 4 sizes. 4 to 5 would be, like, my, like, down the road. But, yeah, these are kind of, like... I probably put you at like this size, and
this is pretty.
I'm usually kind of like a bigger one when I do a bun, or like a thinner one if I want like a tight ponytail, depending.
And this is like a thicker elastic.
It's
like width-wise.
It's like a sewer's elastic, so it's like what's in like pants and other materials.
You slide it so y'all can find.
Versus like
that's really cool.
Other scrunchies, they use a rubber band inside of them, so that's why your hair doesn't stay up.
I was gonna say,
like, she's like, you know, she's got some like,
she will hold.
Like, she's got some resistance.
And the fabrics that you have, do you use like a whole bunch of different fabrics, or?
Yeah, like I mainly use satin. These are like a lot of, like, satin's probably one of the most like desired fabrics. It's most like silk, like it's a manufactured fabric, most like silk. Silk is very expensive. So if you have a real silk scrunchie, you will know, because there's a huge price difference if it's a real silk versus a satin, which is probably everyone has satin, versus like a pillowcase or a scrunchie if it's affordable, because it's a manufactured fabric to emulate silk, which silk is very good for your hair and for your skin and all these other things. But so yeah, that one's probably the most desired. I found this like waffle knit cotton. I personally love it. I think it's super underrated. So I wear it all the time. Like, it is.
Yeah,
like
you have one on right now.
Yeah, I like these are my personal favorites. It's like a soft cotton, and it's a texture cotton. It's like 95% cotton. So it just, like, I don't know, I find it like just cozy and just, you know, just a little like, you know, a little edge, a little detail to it.
I love something.
And then I started doing velvet ones. A lot of people, they've been really popular at the market too. Like, just more of like a fashion accessory, like going out and stuff, like not really like meant for like daily wear, but if you're going out and stuff and just like have it on the wrist, like, it's, you know, it's cute.
And it's also cool that it's like you're just looking at them and you're like, that's what this is. That's what this is.
Yeah,
I'm like feeling all of them. I'm like, I have no idea what anything is.
I know, and it's just like, I'm like, it's just crazy. Like, I just, you know, becoming an expert in things, I think, is also one of the hardest things in business too. Like, having to become a marketing expert, like a sewing expert, like a, product design, customer service expert. Like you just have to be an expert in everything to do well. So
You have to wear all the hats.
we got to wear all the hats. So I've just been like, divulging on the internet, like really asking questions, like just doing everything just so, I know what I'm talking about. So then at least I can tell other people just so I can, everyone can make like the best decisions. And if it's not for them, it's not for them. But at least they have all the information for that.
Being an expert in everything and wearing like all the hats, which is your favorite hat to wear?
Probably sewing. I always tell people, I'm like, you can't get in trouble if you're sewing. It really is therapeutic. Like just, being at home sewing, it just is like, I can't get in trouble. I'm like, it keeps me like on a schedule, a routine. Like I gotta sew, I gotta do this. Like it just, it heals my soul in a lot of ways versus other hobbies and stuff that, could be partaking in or doing, or, it just kind of scratches that itch, I guess, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm, totally. How long does it take you to make your scrunchies?
Probably like 20 minutes each. I do them in like batches, like, so I'll cut the fabric at the same time. I'll sew it all at the same time. And like, so I'll kind of like, I don't do one start to finish times 100. Like I'll do like in processes. So I think probably like 20-25 minutes ish, give or take. But I'm also kind of like multitasking or, just kind of doing all the things at the same time. So
what advice would you have for aspiring sewers? Is that the right word? No.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I think you're yeah.
Sewers.
I'd say like just believe in yourself and like just don't cut yourself too short. I think would be my best advice. Like I never thought I could do it. I still don't think I can do it. But like I'm still
You're
just like
literally doing
I
it.
know.
Though.
Like fake it till you make it. Like I'm still just like it's like imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
Like I'm like there's no way I can be, and then you like hit a milestone and you set a goal and you hit it and then you're just like this isn't real. But then so I'd say don't have imposter syndrome, which is a lot easier said than done because I need to take my own advice.
You'll get there
eventually. Yeah.
On that, the idea of like imposter syndrome and like kind of hitting roadblocks or challenges, how do you like keep your mental health good in order to like produce such great work?
You might have to cut this out, but alcohol and medicine.
I love
That's my real answer. Yeah, medicine. Yeah. Pretty much. Yeah, but like sewing is probably it. But yeah, I'm just medicated.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
I just don't have a good answer.
No, that's good. That's honest. Yeah. So exactly.
That's like probably the real one. Especially on tough days, you're just like.
You need to reward yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and like cheesecake and ice cream, like just all the
good stuff.
All the good
stuff. Do you have a dream scrunchie to make?
I would love to have a partnership with the Oilers. That I am manifesting it. I've hit my last manifestation dreams. I sold scrunchies to the wife of Florida Georgia Lions, Brian Kelly.
Oh my gosh.
She has a surf shop, Tribe Kelly. I order all their clothes. Like I got hooked on them in like 2019. Like their traveler bras, their clothing, like everything's handmade in America. Like she has very good values when it comes to, and she's super honest, like about, she could save, like she could produce it for a third of the price overseas, but wants to support American people and families and stuff. And for the last year, I've been manifesting it. And then I just like reached out. I was like, hey, can I send you some scrunchies? And she's like, yeah, I love them. And then I'm like, I sold them to her. So like I didn't believe it. And once that happened, I was really like screaming. So my next manifestation goal is getting with the Oilers. And I believe it. I believe in manifestation. Like
I 100% believe in
it works.
Too.
So I'm every day, I'm just thinking about it. I'm just seeing it. So if they're watching, I'm coming for them.
It's happening. Why do you think it's important to shop local?
Like I think because you're supporting a person that exists and is in your country and province versus supporting a huge corporation that doesn't know your name, that doesn't care about you, and they're producing it overseas and making insane profits off of it. I think the biggest reason, like even just like interacting with people at the market, like they know their customers, they know what they like it's just like there's just so much more of a relationship, and you're supporting that person, you're supporting their family, you're supporting the local economy, like you're really supporting everyone in the area versus supporting like just this huge corporation that just like, and they're abusing their workers, or they're not being treated properly, and they're not being mindful of the environment, or they're not putting that loving care into the products that you're buying. And then there's just so many like rabbit holes of like product issues for it, and then the labor and like just how they treat people of it, and then what you're getting out of it. I think that's probably that's probably like my one like main thing is like just like I just can't get behind like child labor and stuff like that. Just is like like it just like I just like I'll cry, like it just is like so heartbreaking. But like everywhere that we buy our clothes is made likely from that, right? So but if you buy local, you're not.
What would you say is the most challenging part of your work?
I think being an expert in everything, I think, is definitely the hardest part, and having to learn each aspect of it, and then coming to a challenge and then figuring out how to solve it, but then solving it in a way that like makes the most sense, or isn't like financially too expensive, and then having to then be an expert in everything so it doesn't happen again, and just like having to do social media marketing, having to be the best at customer service and being efficient, and like just all these things compiled, and then having to do that as one person and not having 10 people to help me, I think is probably the hardest part.
And on the other end, what is the most rewarding part?
I think talking to people and like having people come back and be like, oh my God, I love this. This is like, I wear them all the time. Like, and like just hearing people have the same reaction I do and they love it just as much as I do, I think is probably the most rewarding part. Like, I could literally cry. Like, it just warms my heart that like people love it just like as much as I do. And just, they just got like, they got out of it what I wanted them to, and they just want to get more. And I just love it.
Where do you hope to see your business in like 5 years?
Oh, I think definitely with the Oilers, we're definitely gonna hit an NHL franchise. Calling it right now, date and time. We're getting there. And then I'd love to be in like either a small boutique franchise or like a hair salon franchise, I think. And like have like a small sewing like not factory, but like, just kind of like a retail space where like I have employees and people are sewing, and just have like a little operation, I think would be the dream.
In your little operation, would you still sew like every now and again, or is
Um,
that something you're willing to kind of retire in its own time?
oh, that's a great question. I don't know. Maybe I probably will just for myself, but not as extensive as it is now. Definitely won't be as much. But I'll still watch Housewives.
Has your sewing changed for you at all? Because you mentioned it kind of being like your decompress, like that sort of thing. Has it changed at all in kind of starting this business? I guess the business really is like what picked up the sewing. So is it still like that thing that's able to help you relax?
Sometimes it's stressful. Like knowing, like even this week, I have so much to do for this market coming. So I have a lot to do. But when I'm doing it, it's not stressful, but just the anticipation and like, okay, now I have these 10 other things to do. And then this, like that part of it is, but the actual sewing isn't, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Okay.
The actual act is great.
Yes.
It's just the lead up to it. That
Yeah.
You're like, please. No.
And then like doing inventory, like how much do I need? I'm like, and just planning everything is a lot. And then it's like, how much fabric do I have? Where am I getting it from? Or, oh, this person stopped selling it. Okay, great. What am I going to do? Like, like just like, yeah, all the challenges, but yeah, the actual sewing part, it's not.
That's crazy. I never even like considered, like obviously I considered that fact that like businesses have to go through like the hard part of like mapping everything out, but like I can't imagine all the like measurements of like this X for this scrunchie in a roll. It has this much, so this is the amount that I need. Yeah. You must be great at math.
Oh man, I'm good at like kind of like on paper, but like doing mental math, I suck. I told a guy at the market something cost $60, but it was actually 30. And he looked at me like so scared, and I was like, oh shoot, I think that's wrong. And then I was like, I am so sorry. Like I'm actually really bad at like mental math. And then he's like, oh no, it's okay. And I was
you're like
having a
tough
pit.
price.
I was like I was like, oh my God, he's probably like, who is this lady? Like what the hell? It says it says this price, and so yeah.
That is so funny.
But I can map out like in it like, okay, like this much I need this and this and then that, but then it like that part I can do, just not like 20 plus 15. I'm like,
35. I was
I'm like,
wait a
okay,
second.
yeah, that's
Carry the one.
Yeah.
It's like, what one? Anyway, if you could take your business anywhere in the world, where would you want to take it?
That's a great question. I don't know. Probably just home. Just home. I'm a homebody. I just love being at home. I love just spending time with my fiance and just, FaceTiming people while sewing. So probably just wherever home is, I think would be where it is.
That's so cute.
It's just like cheesy.
No, it's cute. I like it. I think it's nice. If you okay, we have to use the scrunchies here just because I want to give a visual. But if you were a scrunchie, which scrunchie would you be?
Oh my gosh. And they're not even all here.
I know. Or you can talk about one that is.
Yeah.
That might be better too.
I think a pink waffle knit. So this one's purple, but definitely a pink one because pink's my favorite color. So naturally. And then just like the soft textured ones. It's just like warm and cozy and just like, I think that would probably be the one I would most be like. Which one would you be?
Ooh, good question. Why is pink your favorite color while I think of my answer?
I don't know. It's like, why is the sky blue? It's just like, it just is. It always has been always. I mean, I've gravitated towards like an orangey pink, like a salmon pink, but everything's always has and will be pink. But the business is purple because it's not a good business color, I don't think.
I agree with you, actually.
Pink is,
no,
what?
I don't think pink's a good business color.
Okay.
Because it's polarizing for girls. Because like when you're born, you're wrapped in a pink blanket.
Yeah.
It's people see pink and it maybe triggers them because it's just so strong in a female feminine.
That's fair.
And I just think it's just too much on that side of it where I just don't think it's a good business color.
That's fair. And then you were saying purple is?
I think it is. I like a light purple. Not purple, like kind of like this almost. Because it's like royal. Purple stands for royalty.
I was going to say purple's royalty. So that's a good
And then it's like soft. It's easy on the eyes. Yeah. And it mixes well with like most colors here, right? Like it's an easy. I know. I thought about it.
I think if I was one, I'd be this, but in orange.
Oh.
Because orange is my favorite color.
Like terracotta orange or like bright orange?
That is a very cool word that I don't think I've ever been heard used.
Bright
orange.
Bright
What's
orange.
terracotta?
Yeah, it's like a burnt orange.
Yeah.
Oh, burnt orange.
It's called terracotta.
That's cool.
Again,
That's a fancy.
Again, I've like looked
that.
into every. Okay, cool. Bright orange. Yeah. It's like a highlighter.
Yes, a highlighter.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
You're so brave. I'd be too scared. I'm like, don't look at me.
I'm the opposite. I'm like, pay attention to me. I'm right here.
Are you the youngest?
No, second youngest.
Okay, because there's more than 3, the birth order is off. But like,
yeah. I was the youngest for a while.
Yeah, see that makes sense. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, because you're like, look at me, and I'm the oldest. I'm like, don't look at me. I'm like, I've lost a set of attention years ago. And I'm okay.
That's so funny. And then last question. It doesn't have to be specific to the business or anything, but what would you say is the best piece of advice you've received throughout your life?
Honestly, it is don't take criticism from someone you wouldn't take advice from.
Oh.
And that has stuck with me. And anytime someone comes at me, because they do, I just go, I really have to stop and be like, if I would not take advice from you, if I wouldn't ask you for advice, then I'm not taking your criticism. That's how you keep your head above the clouds and above the water. So yeah, I don't know where I heard it. I've had that model for a long time and it just works.
That's really good. I love that.
I got more too, but there's
we can talk about this.
They're not like but that one's probably the most humbling one.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for showing us all your amazing work and for chatting with us.
Thank you for having me. It's so much fun. I love just chatting with the girls and seeing what's going on.
You gave us scrunchies. Oh my gosh, they're all so cute and so different.
Mine are over there, but
that was me reaching across the table.
These would be me in a scrunchie, so I was very excited about this. She's so sweet. She takes like so much care and thought into the scrunchies she makes. Like these are like hardcore scrunchies. Like I have thick hair and a lot of hair, so I'm so pumped for this. But just the way she talked about creating her brand and the reasons behind it and how she continues to do it and how she runs it all herself. So proud of her. I just met her, but I'm so proud of her and so happy for her. So definitely something you guys should take a look at and support. And we'll be tagging on our socials and stuff too. So look out for that. But yeah.
And you can't see, but like the actual elastic is so thick in here. Like it's not like this a lot. You can't even see it.
Oh,
over
yes,
here.
yes, yes.
It's not. Why did I give them my hair when I literally? It's not a this elastic. Like it's
like flat
thicker.
and thick.
Yeah. Like it seems quality. It seems quality. So I'm excited. She's so sweet and so fun to talk to. I am literally gonna start watching Traders because when she was talking about it, I was like, "Stop! Why is this so cool?" Also gonna check out Barry for the Carrot Fest because I don't know why I find that so fun.
I'll just head up there this weekend, guys. I'll let you know.
Please do. I'm gonna Google when the Carrot Fest is, and if it's this
so
weekend, you
hot
have to go. Miss your cousin.
Miss
your
the
cousin's
wedding.
wedding.
Oh,
Yeah.
Bring them carrots. I don't know.
Happy.
That's your
Yeah.
gift. Happy birth.
Oh, it's been a long day. Happy wedding.
Happy wedding day.
Congratulations. Anyway, check out Marley Sew Co.
Yeah.
Go to a market.
St.
Look
Albert
online.
Market to be
St.
exact.
Albert Market to be exact, or any market. Shop local, but more specifically St. Albert Market.
She also has a website.
She also has a website. Marley Sew Co. I think I've been saying Marley Sew and Co. So if I have, I apologize. It's Marley Sew Co. Super cute.
Sewing Co.
Oh, we're both
Both wrong.
Anyway, Marley Sew Co. Check her out. She's absolutely wonderful.